Well, the legislature's wrapping up another week here in the wrap-up session, and I would point out that a little bit of progress has been made, but there still remains a lot of work to be done. Hopefully, we can kind of get things done here in the next day or so. One of the things that I think of note happened this week, of course, was the Senate passed a school finance bill. As you know, the House already passed one, and the Senate passed theirs out by a vote of 23-16 the other day. And of course, what happens now is the House and Senate negotiators will meet together and iron out the differences between those two bills. Rather than going in detail on those, I'll wait till we have a final product, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Good news, though, because that is probably one of the school finance bill would be probably one of the top 3 or 4 things that we had to accomplish this session. So thankful that that is now over. A little news on the lottery. Something that's come up here is that without any action on by the Kansas legislature, the Kansas Lottery Authority would lapse, so they came up with a compromise bill to take care of that. One of the things that would happen would they would extend the lottery now for 15 years, and I believe that would take it to the year 2037. A few things in that lottery bill, though, of interest. The lottery would not sunset, as I mentioned, until the year 2037. The bill would authorize lottery vending machines. It would also have pull tab instant winner tickets that could be dispensed by a regular lottery dispensing machine. And also the lottery would take up some negotiations with our fraternal organizations. For years, we have heard from the Elks, the American Legion, the VFW halls that they'd like to have, slot machines and so forth. Now this will actually allow them to have those vending machines, for the lottery vending tickets. And so that's a step in that direction. I think they're going to be pretty happy about that, but that'll be up to the negotiators to see how that actually works out and what kind of a deal they're going to make with them. The debates on guns was big this week. As a matter of fact, the Senate, I think their debate took about 6 hours. Part of the issue here was that we have an existing concealed carry law in our state, but when that bill was passed a few years ago, there were several things that were going to be in that bill that a lot of people didn't care for. There was a big pushback from the Kansas University Medical Center. Also, our Regents institutions were a little bit concerned about that, and also the expense that would be needed to secure your buildings as far as x-ray machines and that type of thing. But mainly, what we were really concerned about here is that this bill allowed concealed carry in our state hospitals, such as Osawatomie and Larned. Also, your Kansas University Medical Center. They felt that that was going to really hamper some of their recruiting efforts as they bring in doctors to do their residency program in that facility. So some of the things that were exempted from that original concealed carry bill were state or municipal-owned medical care facilities and adult care homes, community mental health centers, indigent health care clinics, and also buildings located in the district associated with the KU Medical Center. I believe this also would include the Hayes Medical Center in Hayes. As far as taxes go, that's another thing that is really kind of taking on a life here of its own, in that it's just a grind. And so the Senate finally passed another tax bill over to the House the other day. In fact, they were in the middle of a debate on education. They stopped that debate. They finished their debate on the tax bill, sent it over to the House, and that came over in the form of a House bill. It was House Bill 2067, which many of you heard us talking earlier in the week about Senate Bill 30 that was rejected here earlier this week. But this one here was interesting in that it started out after the debate with a vote of 59-59. It didn't look like anybody was going to budge on their and change their no vote to a yes. That would bring us to 63. So that bill looked like it was going to fail, and people started peeling off. So the end vote, the final vote on that, was 37-85. I did vote in favor of that, but a lot of people peeled off, so that's really not indicative of how close that was. And of course, the bill contained a lot of the things we've been hearing about. It eliminated the LLC tax exemption. It also they eliminated the glide path to zero on income tax, and it created the third income tax bracket. once again, people are all over the board as far as what they didn't like about the bill or what they did like. And of course, I'm of the thought here that we need to get something out there so the court can review it, but also so schools can start their budget process and know where they're going to be at as far as funding goes. So I look for another bill probably to be resurrected in the next day or so, possibly even today. But needless to say, we've got a little bit of progress here this week, but there's some heavy lifting to be done. And of course, that tax bill has proven to be just that.